Hello everybody, I'm Jim Kerr, and you might see behind me this beautiful airplane, this Mooney M20K 252, which is a turbocharged beast. And sadly for me, I'm going to be selling it. So lucky for one of you, you'll be able to buy it. So I thought I would create this video series to just walk you through what the plane looks like. I know it's difficult to buy an airplane online, so I figure I would walk you through a complete pre-flight inspection so you can see how amazing this airplane actually is. So let's get started. The one thing that makes this airplane stand out more than anything is its paint job. This is a one-of-a-kind. You're not going to find it anywhere else in the world. It was designed by me and scheme designers. And it took us about 6 to 8 months to actually put this design together. And it took about another 3 to 4 months to actually paint it. And still, it is in perfect condition. So you can see all of the panels, the inspection panels are in great shape. One of the things you'll see right away is that it has vortex generators. You don't see that very often on Moonies. And what makes these vortex generators awesome is in flight, they're very, negligible. But when you're landing, it keeps the airflow over the wing, and it gives you more control when you're landing, so you can land slower and safer. So just a quick walk around of the bird, just so you can get a general feel for it. One of the things you might see in the video here is that reddish stripe looks gold on the left end and kind of reddish in the middle. But as we walk around, you're going to see that that stripe is changing colors. This is called chrome illusion paint. And so depending on the angle that you're actually at, it changes colors. So it's like a mirror. And this stripe, we have stripe on the sides, on the top, on the front, and they're exactly mirrored on the bottom. Another thing you'll notice is this has speed brakes, which are really amazing. They can be deployed at any speed. So let's start looking at the pre-flight inspection first, just to give you an idea of how everything is rigged and looks. So first we'll take a look at the ailerons here. This is the right wing aileron, passenger side. You can see that everything is fitted good. See this nut here, you can see how, there's a few threads past the end of the nut. Everything is nice and secure. And of course the outboard nut as well. If we go underneath, you can also take a look underneath the plane. You can see everything is same paint and beautiful. Have this connector here, push-pull rod. Everything's push-pull rod, gives you very precise flight controls, unlike like Cessnas and that use cables. This guy uses push-pull rods, which are very, very precise, and it just makes it a dream when you're flying. Flaps, I'll put those down in a little bit. Walk through, you'll see the windows. You can see how clear they are. These windows have all been replaced. They're LP Aeroplastics. So not only are they new, they're also thicker than the original window. So it makes the cabin inside quiet. And you can see, hopefully, how clear those windows are. You can see right through the cabin out the other side. They're not fogged, they're not scratched, they're beautiful. And as we come along to another decal, or what looks like a decal, the Mooney logo, and this is the original Mooney logo that went with this airplane, so not the new logo that a lot of times they put on planes when they repaint them. Now this again is not a decal. You might be able to see it's got metallic in it. This is an actual paint, so it's not metallic, so it's never going to come off, it's never going to peel, it's going to last forever. So as we move down, plane has integrated oxygen. So that's the oxygen fill. And again, This is not a decal. You can see the color, the blue matches the plane. That's the same blue as the blue above. And before I move on, we can take a look here. The nose step, exactly the same way. These are all painted on logos. Very, very few planes have painted logos because it's so difficult to mask and to keep these nice, beautiful straight lines. So very few places have the ability to paint those without causing jagged edges. So as we move down, of course, to the N number, it's N252 Quebec, and this is a shadowed N number, and again, it's also painted. So it's a 2-color shadow, and you'll see that the lean, if I step back here a bit, leans aft on this side. So it goes this way. When we get over to the other side, I'll show you the difference. So they're mirrored, and a lot of times when people paint the planes, they use the same stencils, and the N numbers are pointing the wrong way on the other side of the plane. Not this girl. This one is perfect. So we'll walk on around. We'll take a look at the elevator. Horizontal stabilizer. You can see down here, everything is nice and clean. Got our vortex generators on the top and the bottom. That gives you the airflow again, keeping a good positive control. We'll walk up, take a look at the connectors. Everything's painted. Again, we have the tip of the screw coming out of the other side of the nut. So that is perfect. Maybe you can see inside of here, every inch of this was painted. All of these control surfaces were off and balanced when it was painted, so the paint goes all the way around to the other side. The second connector here, you can see the same one. This side is painted blue, this side is painted silver, so it matches the line. And the level of detail in this is just impossible to explain how complicated it was to paint this plane. Here's our next one. You can see the fitting. Take a listen. It's nice and quiet. There's no binding. And finally, our last one. Same thing, good fitting. Got our push-pull rods here for the rudder. Cotter pin, everything is perfect. And again, another one of the no-push painted on labels. So again, no decals on this airplane. So we'll just take a look from the back just so you can see what she looks like from the rear. We'll walk on around, and again, on this side, another no push. See our connectors, maybe see below. That connector is good. Can't quite see this one. This one is shielded, but you maybe just see inside of there just a little bit that it's the threads just come out past it, past the end of the nut, and up at the top, it's the same way. Working our way on down, we've got our connector here, again, properly rigged. Connector here, properly rigged. Like the other side, an exact mirror. You can see this side is blue, this side is gray, to keep a perfect line going across. And look how clean these edges are. They're perfection. There's no jagged, it is absolutely perfect. It's better than it could ever have been out of the factory. So again, we have this end, give you kind of a view of what this side of the plane looks like so you can tell. Got our chrome illusion paint, got our stripes, they're exact mirrors of one another. Rotate down so you can see underneath. All right, and everything is exactly the same. Got our N number, and like I was saying on the other side, you can see how this points aft. See, so it follows the line of the plane. This side points this way, the other side also points that way, but if they were a decal that most places uses, one side would be pointed forward and the other side would be pointed aft, and it really looks silly. All right, so we can go on around. You can take a look at the antennas. It's got two comm antennas. This is comm number 2. The one in the front's comm number 1. This is XM radio, so it has XM weather as well as XM radio integrated in it. And then this is the GPS antenna. Mirrored logo on this side, so you can see, same thing. This again is painted. Perfect lines. Look at these lines. They're amazing. Absolutely perfect. The little eye. Look how clear that is. It's absolutely precise. There's no issues with this, and this is not a decal. This is actually painted. Okay, so we're at the battery box. I'll try to take this off later in the video or in another video. 28 volt DC, painted, tell the blue, same exact blue. This dark, it's called the Ming blue, same exact color blue, same paint. Get this battery door open. Charging port, or jump start port. Working our way down. The flaps, got our nose step. Pull back so you can see. Got our chrome illusion paint. You can see how cool that is. See how it changes colors. It is absolutely incredible to see this plane taxiing or flying by, because every time you look at it, it looks like there's a different color on it. This side windows, nice and clear. You see right through. See how clear that is? We're going through a camera, through a window, all the way across the airplane, out the other window, and you can still see the wing and the paint. It's absolutely incredible. All right, so everything is good here. You can see all of the paint on the wing root. Everything is nice and clean and straight. There's no cracks. All of the rivets are in perfect shape. There's no fretting or fraying or anything in any of these rivets. Can come up through here. Let's kind of take another look, or look over at this side. All right, now we're working our way across back to the other speed, the speed brake on the left side. Again, those can be deployed at any speed, no matter how fast you are. It can either increase, slow you down, or increase your rate of descent without having to change engine power. So they're a lifesaver on a fast plane like a Mooney. Let's get up to the rigging of this aileron. Hopefully you can see that. It's a little tight. Everything has gap seals to keep this nice and aerodynamic. That's what makes them so fast. As you can see down inside, see the rivets. See the rigging again. Got your threads coming out of the end. Everything is set up. Another gap seal. Got our good clean rivets. You can see everything is moving nice and smoothly. We've got static wicks on the plane, so in case there was ever a lightning strike or something, that would dissipate the static electricity, save your controls from freezing up. Because if lightning hits a plane, it could weld these connectors shut, and you could actually lose control. But with the static wicks, that dissipates a lightning strike out into the atmosphere, and it reduces the likelihood that your controls would actually weld if you were hit by a lightning strike. Got our lights. I'll turn these on in a little bit so you can see how all of those work. Got covers over our nav and strobe lights, so this keeps them nice and aerodynamic, keeps things from hitting it. We have wingtip identifier lights. So these are a white light that you can turn on, so at night you can see kind of the full wingspan of the airplane. And we have our vortex generators again. And you can see every single one of them is exactly on. None of them are loose. They're in absolutely perfect shape. We put these on when we painted the plane, so they're actually adhered to the aluminum structure, where a lot of times when you add these on aftermarket, they're connected to the paint. And if they're on the paint, then the paint could chip and then the vortex generator would come off. with them directly on the aluminum, so it's cladded first, and then these are stuck down, and then the paint is applied. That keeps them nice and clean, just like it was installed at a factory. And you can see how this paint goes over the edge and right up to the tip. So that keeps everything nice and smooth, and it keeps these on so they don't accidentally get knocked off. So we've got this view here. See the chrome illusion paint again. Got our turbo. Got our landing gear. I'll get under and I'll show you the landing gear here in just a minute. But as we're walking around, you'll see the prop tip. It's painted to match. So these are the same Ming blue as on the airplane. Heated prop. These all work. Kind of see in the engine. In another video, I'll open up the cowling so you guys can see what that looks like. Spinner, perfect shape. You can see up here there's no cracks. There's little plastic washers under each and every one of these screws that keeps them from chafing and cracking. A lot of times when people take these off, they don't put those plastic washers back on, and that's what causes problems with a lot of airplanes, but not this one. Everything is done to perfection. I'll take you around the bottom so you can see those too. So there's no cracks. Spinner is in absolutely perfect shape, and look how big the spinner is. The thing is a monster. This airplane has got more engine than it has airframe. It's coming on around. We've got the rubber boots, de-icing. They work again, both sides, get hot. It helps you if you accidentally get into icing. It's not for known icing, but if you ever get into some, that'll keep it off of your go machine here. And then the blue, again, the Ming blue on the wingtips. Nice straight lines, no chipping. It's in amazing shape. So we got our logo here now. Again, this Turbo 252 TSE. This is all painted on. And it's kind of hard to see with the camera because of the resolution, but this is metallic paint. It's the same metallic paint that we have down here. The whole airplane is metallic. I don't know if you can kind of see that in the blue here, maybe. See that? That's metallic paint. And so everything is metallic except for the chrome illusion, and then that's like a mirrored paint. And then the paint down below. Some other things to note, you might have seen as we're walking around, all of the hardware has been replaced. So everything on the plane is stainless steel hardware that can be stainless steel. Other pieces of hardware, like on the landing gear or something, we may have had to replace it with some AN hardware for strength, but everything has been replaced that can be replaced. You can see these cam lock fasteners. They're all nice and clean. They fit in nice. Everything is all stainless steel. They don't rust. They're easy to get in and out. Makes the plane very, very easy to work on. So we've got a couple of temperature sensors here. This is temperature sensor number 1. This one, I believe, goes to the air data computer inside. And then this one here goes to the transponder, I believe, or the JPI engine monitor. I forget which one it is. So let's get on down here so we can take a look at the actual bottom of the airplane and get into the gear bay. So all of this, all the landing gear here has all been powder coated. It's a little dirty right now because I've been going through and keeping everything lubed up, but everything has been powder coated, so these don't chip very easily. The little hubcaps are nice and clean. All the screws in the hubcaps have all been replaced. Get up in here. Let's see if I can get in here, show you inside of the landing gear nose gear bay. Everything is all rigged perfectly. See all these push-pull rods, everything, all the connectors are exactly where they should be. Pulls the doors up nice and clean. If you were interested in buying the plane, I do have jacks, and we can jack it up and do a full gear retraction test if you like. So kind of going down, you can see the underside of the plane. Got our transponder antenna here, our exhaust, and we work our way over. Let me see if I can get on over here. This is the left main. I'm sorry. It's exactly the exact same kind of setup here. Everything has been removed and powder coated. All of the nuts and bolts have all been replaced with a brand new AN hardware. Inside of the main landing gear base, all of this has been painted. So most planes don't paint under here, but to prevent corrosion and all of that, I had it painted, and it's very, very difficult to paint that. All of the gear has to be removed. Everything has to be stripped down, painted. All of the brake lines and stuff have been replaced. Speaking of replacing, the tires, brand new. Replace the tires. You can maybe see these are Michelin Air. They're not cheap tires like Goodyear's or something. These are good, high quality Michelin Air, and they're serviced with nitrogen. Now, I currently have the hubcap off of here just so people can inspect this, and you can see the cotter pin new and the torque and all of that, but there is a hubcaps that go on these that I'll put on after whoever wants to look at it can see exactly how the tires are connected together. Coming up here, you've got all of the rigging, everything, all of the grease fittings have been greased regularly. Everything is in great shape. All the tensions, the gear tensions and everything are in amazing shape. And I really want to have you pay close attention to just the paint inside of there. The paint inside of the gear well is at the same level of quality of the rest of the airplane. And I cannot stress enough how very rare that is. Go out to your airport and take a look at retractable planes, even expensive ones, King Airs and jets and all of that. Most planes don't paint inside except the super, super high-end ones. And while I'm at it, I might as well call out this tire pressure. All of them are marked with what pressure goes into each tire. And again, those are painted on. They are not decals. So it's the blue, the Ming blue that's on the plane. Even under here, all of this is painted on. So let's see if we can get you a good look at underneath the wing. You can see the panels. All the screws have been replaced. But down here, we painted them all so they match. So a blue screw goes in a blue spot. A screw that has some gray and blue on it. You can see we matched all of the screws to the actual paint, because this is the part here, this goes into the fuel tank. So you don't generally have to remove these. We've got our tie down, which is also our jack points. All right. So looking down the leading edge of the wing, you can see these are the stall strips. They create a buffet just before you're going into a stall, so you can feel that when you're flying. All of these are on. Painting around them is perfect. There's no cracking, anything like that. Get up here to the top again. You can see everything. I just want to make sure that you have the ability to see how amazing this plane is. And without seeing it in person, it's really hard to tell. Like, look how clear the plastic is that covers these lights. And this is a 1988 airplane, and everything looks like it just come out of the factory. Okay, so that gets us around on the outside. So let me go in and I'm gonna put the flaps down and turn on the strobes and nav lights so you can see how everything is working as far as the lighting is concerned. So I'll be right back. Okay, I have all of the master switch on and the lights, so let's go out and take a look and see how they do. Okay, I'm back out. Got the nav lights and recognition lights and all on, so let's take a look, see how things are so you can see that everything works. We've got our trailing nav light, white light, trailing edge of the wing, good wing marker. You can see we've got our strobe light, so hopefully see that flashing. It might flash faster than the camera can pick up. Got our green nav light, got our white wingtip recognition light. Green is on the right side, which is correct. Go over here, we'll come up and take a look up here. You can see both lights work, landing lights. So one's a taxi light, one's a landing light. Both of those are working like they're supposed to. Working our way around. On the pilot side or left side, you can see we've got our wingtip recognition light, our nav light, our strobe light, trailing edge white light on the wingtip, all working the way they're supposed to. Working our way down and around. We'll get back here to the back. Hopefully you can see that. I got the strobe light working down here like it's supposed to. And I believe that is all of the lights. Let's see there. Yeah, I think that is all the lights on the plane. So everything is flashing and doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, so now let's come up and take a look at the interior of the airplane. So this is the front door. Everything has been renewed. This has new door seals. They were just installed, so it's completely air and watertight. It has a new interior. All the plastics and all have been either replaced or refurbished. Front seats are leather and nice and beautiful and comfortable. Matching seat belts. The carpet's all been replaced. And you can see the beautiful panel. So the panel's all wood. So this is actually real wood that's laminated to be fireproof. And all the lettering for the circuit breakers and all of that are all like actually laser etched into the wood and then laminated on top. So there's no decals or anything in here to worry about, at least not on the panel. There are on some other places, but not on the panel. So that is the panel. You can see the carpet. It's nice and clean. Got the seats. They're leather in the front and vinyl in the back. Hopefully you can see that. All the interior lighting works. The speakers work. See if I can turn on some lighting. Everything works the way it's supposed to. Let's see if we can get the lighting on. Got some lighting. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can see that. There, you can kind of see it in there. It's got to be dark out to actually see it. And you got your backup mic. And it's got a Bose headset connectors. The Bose headsets won't come with the plane, but you can buy the connectors. So it has the LEMO connector that connects in. So this powers the Bose, and you just plug it in and it locks in. Of course, it also has the traditional headset connectors if you want to use regular aviation headsets. The yokes and controls have all been covered with leather and labeled. Got the Mooney logo here. This is stitched on. Again, it's the original Mooney logo, not the new one, so everything matches. Glare shield. This is all leather. It's all been stitched and renewed. So everything is all leather and it's in amazing shape. The grab bar here, it's leather covers for that. So you can grab a hold of it, and that keeps everything protected for the frame, so you're not marring up the frame, and getting oil on it could cause corrosion or something. Again, you can take a look out the windshield. Look how clear that is. It's amazing. You know, you really can hardly tell that you're looking through glass, right? It's just a little bit different. But overall, you can barely even tell, because the windows on here are so amazingly clear. Let's take a look at the pilot's door. So this is outside, cruise in. That's looking through the window on the door. Work our way out, work our way in. Like, it's amazing how clear they are. Everything is just in absolute pristine shape. And you can see the door seal here, nice and new. And it's still breaking in, so it's just fitting just absolutely perfectly on the door. This side window, the pilot side, you can see again how clear it is. See how clear you can see the wings. Back window, again, super clear. Armrest and all have been recovered. Everything here has all been recovered. Everything matches. It's got custom floor mats that are cut out to match the plane exactly. So, you know, you can always get new ones, or you can pull these out and clean them if you need to, so you don't have to worry about getting the main carpet dirty as you get in and out. All of the knobs and everything work. You've got your defrost and your cabin heat and your vents all here are all working. The controls, throttle, propeller, mixture, everything works great. Cowl flaps, all of that. Over here you've got your interior lights for your panel lights and all of that. Got HSI slave here. Down here you've got volume and tuning for the Sirius XM radio, so you can change the volume up and down, or change the channels up and down without having to go into the display. So I think that is it in the front. So let's go to the back. Okay, so I have the baggage compartment opened up, so you can kind of see up towards the front. All the logbooks are in the plane, in the seat back pockets, rear seats, all look nice, panels, all the windows. Back compartment has all been recarpeted. It's got a document storage here that's sewn in. Has a 28 volt lighter connector back here, or power connector, which makes it really easy to connect up stuff like battery tenders and that. You can plug it right here and it goes to the battery without having to worry about the master switch being on. We have Sirius XM, Stratus. The antennas are actually wired into the plane, so you can have this on the inside and you still get really high resolution WAS as well as ADSB. It's got its own dedicated outside antenna, and then the GPS, the WAS GPS. This is the hat shelf. Everything's in nice shape. You can see it's kind of painted. Everything is nice and clean. All the screws. Got a little rack here for a coat rack if you need that. Like in the front, all of the rear seal has been replaced, just replaced. So it's in perfect shape. It's airtight, there's no leaks, and it's waterproof. And taking a look out, so you can see the baggage door. Again, everything has been cleaned and refurbished. So this plane looks like brand new. So I think that covers the back. Let's move on up front again. Okay, now I am in the pilot seat, and I'm going to go ahead and take you up through a startup sequence of the plane. I might have to start the plane, lay the phone down, and then pick back up after it's started, because I'm going to need more than one hand to do that. But I'll at least walk you through the basics of the plane. You can see it's got the, the N number. This is all etched into the wood. speed brake light, all of that stuff, landing gear, everything is good. So going through the checklist, you want to make sure your landing gear is down, mixture rich, propeller, full in. Throttle would be about a half inch or so in to get us going. Now I'll go ahead and turn on the master switch and the alternator. You can hear things spooling up. Turn coordinator is spooling up like it's supposed to. There's a flag there. There's no flag. That's looking good. We've got about a little more than 26 volts. That looks good on the battery. ELT is off. Prop de-ice. We've got fuel. I've already checked the oil and all of that good stuff before I got in here. Everything is good. We've got a fuel totalizer here. So you hit reset on that. That takes us back to 0. And everything looks good. So now let me go ahead and prime the plane. So you hit this here. And what we want to do is just get some positive fuel flow. So you hear that going. Everything's good. All right. So we look good. So let me see if I can get it started. So just 1 sec and I will start it up and I'll be right back. Okay, I have the plane running. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the power back a little bit. You can see over here the RPM gauge. I'm right around 1100 RPM. Keep it up. We've got oil pressure, fuel again, cylinder head temperature is nothing, but everything's looking good. Right now I've got a light flashing because we don't have enough RPM to charge the alternator. I'll let it warm up before we worry about that. Let's go ahead and flip on the avionics. And I want to draw your attention to the transponder. Hopefully you can hear me okay. So right now you can see it says no ADSB. And that's because we don't have a GPS position lock. I wanted to show you that when we first turn it on, so that way I can show when that light goes out, it has a solid ADSB lock. So we're powering everything up. The Garmin's coming up. The autopilot, you need to do a test. You'll hear 5 beeps. Okay. That tells you that the autopilot system is past all of its safety checks and that everything is working like it's supposed to. All right, the Garmin is coming up. I want to say okay here, or enter, I should say. All right, so now it's going through its self-test, and this is what it's showing me. So the RMI should be 135, or the OBS 305. All right, so let's go over here to the HSI, and you can see, so it's got the glide slope indicator that's coming up or coming down, so that's in the position that it should be. We've got our course deviation needle that's swung, which is what the Garmin is telling it to do right now. So that's your IFR check. Now if I'm going to turn this knob, and then I'll show you over here on the Garmin so we can validate. Hopefully you can see that. As I turn the knob, you can see that OBS. See how that's changing? So let's say, let me go up to around 240 or so. All right. So there's 240, 239, 240. All right. So now let's go over here. You can see on the HSI, we're right at 240. So what that's telling us is that the IFR check between the GPS and your HSI is accurate. So that's good news. So now I can go ahead and hit OK. Now another thing I should point out, on the transponder, that ADSB light is out. So it hasn't received a GPS lock yet, but what that's telling you is that the GPS is talking to the transponder. Now when I hit OK, it might come on, or I guess it already found its position. So we're fully locked. We're crank it up a little bit in RPM. And what I'm doing is I'm just twisting this knob. See RPM coming up. I'm holding the brakes. Everything's nice and smooth. There's no issues. Temperatures are looking good. Number 2 cylinder is climbing. That's because we're not moving in air, so that cylinder doesn't get as much airflow. So back it back down again. And everything's nice and smooth. You can hear how smooth the airplane is. So, and all I'm doing is I'm twisting this. This is a twist adjustment on the throttle. So hear how nice and smooth it's idling. Everything's coming back down. The engine's getting worked in. Everything's working good there. So all of the avionics, everything's working. You can switch fuel tanks. So just to prove that the fuel switch works, you know, the engine won't die or anything on us. All the switches, all these switches have been replaced. It's a master, you know, the fuel boost pump that you only need in case of emergency, these sorts of things. Generally, you don't need a boost pump. Got your alternate air source. Let's see if I pull that. You can maybe see a little bit. It's hard to see a little jump on that. So that's showing that alternate air source is working the way it's supposed to. Oil pressure's nice and stable in the green. You can see our cylinder head temperatures coming up. Fuel, everything's looking good there. All the radios work like they're supposed to. Hear that? So that's the squelch off on COM 1. Go over to COM 2. I'm turning the squelch off. You can kind of hear. So both radios work exactly the way they're supposed to.
X-ray time 1745.
See ATIS.
Broken 1900. Temperature 18, 2.15. Temperature 3013. Expect. Power supply 2030 in use. All aircraft conjugate tower on frequency 125.6 for all. Clear for head taxi instructions. Use caution for bears near. Got agent and implementary water from the airspace. Alerting us contact. Give information. X-ray.
Okay, turn that off so it's not so distracting. So audio panel all works. I can't really show you the XM radio exactly because maybe I'll show it in a headset. Let's see how it goes. But so if we page through here, you can see it has XM radio, and it's still pulling down its channels, but there is a subscription for XM radio on it. And then flight information service, this is the XM weather, and it does have a subscription that I have current right now. That'll stay on for a little while after I sell the plane. And we'll go back over here to our VFR chart. Okay, you can see now everything on the engine. Everything's kind of like nice and flat-lined. It's looking good. We've got our outside air temperature. We're 100 difference from the hot and the cold cylinders. We're not shock cooling or anything. We've got 24.2 battery voltage because we don't have enough RPM to charge a battery. So let me go on up now and start pulling the RPMs up. And then when we get into high enough RPM, then everything will start charging. And you can see here now, see how the battery voltage is going up. That's showing that the alternator is working the way it's supposed to. So let's go on up to down to 1,000 RPM. Notice the high voltage or the low voltage light went out on the panel because we had the alternator up and charging. Do a test. Everything works there. Showed you the audio panel. I've showed you the GMX 200, the GPS. Everything is working. It's got a lock. All the stuff works there. The autopilot, we went through a full test on that. The radios, transponder, you can see the no ADSB is off now, so that's working. It's getting its pressure from the air data computer, so that's all working correctly. If I go to system, let's say test, let's say info, so you can kind of see what info it has, features, hardware. You can see here on the hardware that the GPS is sending data and the data is valid. The altitude, which is the air data computer, is sending data and it's valid. Hopefully you can see that. And that the GDL69, which is the XM weather and radio, that it is receiving data and that data is valid. So everything is working on the system here. Kind of get an idea of what hardware. So that all works like it's supposed to. You can see, let's see here. I think that is about everything. I could, let's see, let me do a direct. And let me go to K. Okay, this is Chicago Midway Airport. So all I have to do is hit enter and then activate. Now I'm going to hit activate over here, and then you can watch this guy. Boom. Okay, so the nav light, nav flag went off. It's showing direct, and everything is working. The distance is 18.7 miles. So everything is working the way that it's supposed to. So all of the integration between the HSI and the flight director system tied into the GPS, everything checks out okay. You can see the magenta line right here. That matches up here. So it's showing you my direct path out. And as I'm paging myself out, it's cluttered, but you can see there's the Midway Airport. So these are the rings of the O'Hare Class B airspace. Everything's working. You can see on here, you know, the VORs and their frequencies. The next waypoint is Midway. I'm at a 20 nautical mile scale. So all of that stuff is working the way it's supposed to. We've already gone through all of the lights, recognition light, pitot heat. Let's see if I can, so I'm going to turn the pitot heat on, and if you go and you watch, let's see if you can see watch the volts. See how it dropped and the amps went up? Okay, so again, that was pitot heat. That's showing that works. Let's see, let's do prop de-ice next. So if you go up here again, see if you can see that. Sorry about the glare. When I turn the prop de-ice on, see the amps go up. Okay, so that's showing us that the prop de-ice is working the way it's supposed to. Elevator trim, this is for the autopilot as well as you know, the actual trim here. So let me move that so you can see that. Let's see here. Let's go in, and I can move this. And let me see if I can show you this. See the little black on the left, this little black dot? As I move down, you can see it going down. As I move up, you can see it going back up. slowly goes up. There it goes, see it? All right, so we're back in takeoff position. Let's put down the flaps. So let me hold this down. You'll see we're at takeoff position. If we go and we take a look outside, you can kind of see them. So I'm gonna hold the camera up here. I'm gonna move the flaps so you can see it going down. Let's go over to the other side. Hopefully you can see that. And then now I'm gonna bring it back up. See them coming back up. All right, let's see the controls. Maybe you can see out on the wing. So I'm moving it this way. And as you can see, as I move it that way, that aileron goes up, which is correct. When I move it the other way, the aileron goes down. Come over here to this side, same thing. I move the aileron to the left, and it goes up. Move the control to the right, and it goes down. So everything is working okay. Control, the elevator is all working and smooth. Can't quite show you that from the camera, but you just have to trust me, that seems to be working okay. Let's see, so we're idling here at 1.8, fuel flow 1.8, 1.9. Everything is good. I just wanted to make sure that you saw everything. You can see my battery is coming down again because our RPMs are low. Gives you a warning. So if I take the RPMs up, that'll clear. See how it cleared? So everything is working. All the alerts are working the way they're supposed to. The message, it's saying set my course to 307 degrees. So over here I have to change that to 307-ish. We're good there. So I think that takes us through the interior. Clock is working the way it's supposed to. The key, we went through the mag checks. So I believe that covers all of the main systems inside. So let me go ahead and start pulling the power back. I'm going to go ahead and turn the avionics off. So we'll do our shutdown. So one of the things to tell when you shut down an airplane is it should just have a little bit of a rise when you pull the mixture back. That tells you that it's in the proper fuel air mixture. So I'm going to go on back to idle. So we're at idle now. So 600, 700, 800 RPM. That's about where it's supposed to be. Now listen as I pull the mixture and watch. And there we go. So everything worked the way it was supposed to there. So I'll turn off the master, turn the key off. Of course, take the key out. Lay those keys down. Everything is shutting down like it's supposed to. Got our little blowhole here. Got some blowholes up here. Got our visors. So I think that covers all of the run-up procedures. So I'll go ahead and jump out of the plane now, and I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, I have the plane back in the hangar now, and we just finished running it up. There's not a lot you can see in the cowling. I'll take this off, but it'll take a little bit of time to get everything out. But I just wanted to show, as best we can see, the engine is spotless, although it's hot. There's no leaks. All the systems look exactly the way they're supposed to. Down here, you can see, there's no leaks. There's no oil. It's hard to see, I know, but take a look up in here. You can see that although we just ran it up, there's no oils leaking out. You can see the frame of the engine's nice and white and clean. Go over to cowl flap. See that guy? Swing over to the other side. See with our exhaust a little bit dirty, but no oil or anything leaking. So what I'll do is I will come back in tomorrow and we'll take a look again. So you can see I just wanted to show tire is clear, there's no oil or anything dripping on the tire. My drip mat's a little dirty, but there's no oil or anything dripping on that. So the engine is remarkably clean. Let's see if I can get you in here so you can see the cylinders. All the connectors and everything are nice and clean. You can see the tubes have all been, the new tube covers, everything is sealed. Jump over to the other side, get you in there. See the spark plug and the wiring. Everything is nice and clean. So next, which will probably end up being tomorrow, I'll take the top cowling apart, and we'll go inside and we'll take a look at the engine. So stay tuned and we'll be back soon. Okay folks, I went ahead to pull the cowling off so you could take a look at the engine. So it's still the same day, engine's still hot, but I went ahead and pulled it so we could give you a view of what the engine looks like right after it's ran. So you can see all these cylinders, they've all been reconditioned. The engine was torn down and completely rebuilt. Everything is dry, all the fittings, everything is nice. The connectors here, all of these boots have all been replaced. You can see this is the plate that that sends power to the heated prop. There's no oil leaks or anything around the spinner. See, that's nice and clean. This is the octo valve for the fuel injectors. Everything is nice and clean. See, there's spark plugs. There's no fuel leaks or anything. I'm on the pilot side currently. See these are pressurized around the fuel injectors because it's turbo. So all of that works. Everything's nice and clean here. Get in the back accessory case. You can take a look. Everything's clean. There's no oil. There's a left magneto here. See the wiring and everything is good. Again, there's no oil leaks or anything in the back. The vacuum pump on this is a wet pump, not a dry one. So these things will last absolutely forever. And it's an Airwolf vac pump, and it feeds into this Airwolf oil air separator. So any kind of like overflow oil that might come out gets caught in here and returned back to the engine. So these vac pumps are the most reliable that you can get, and they last forever. You can see there's no leaks or anything around there. Trying to give you as good of a view as I possibly can. This is the vac filter for inside. Take you around to the front. Get over the propeller here. Trying to give you as good of a view as I can. Got our wiring. Everything is nice and tied off. This is how the power rides along these rings here. So all of that connection's fine, and we tested that a little bit ago with sending power in. Got our connector, our little tubes here for the intakes. Give you a good view here. spark plugs. Again, you can't see any, you know, the actual injectors. There's no leaks or anything around them. There's no soot around the plugs. Just a next one. And we got this one here. So I'm trying to give you as good of a view as I can so you can see how amazing this engine is. It's in absolute pristine condition. So the air intake comes through here. It's distributed out to all of the cylinders. Everything has been replaced. So all these boots, they're all new. Back when I redid the engine, all these hoses have been replaced. Get over here. This is an intercooler. This is one of the reasons why the 252 is so reliable, because it, you know, it cools the engine oil with ram air, and it makes it more efficient. Got our wiring going in. Just trying to give you as good of a view as I can. These yellow wires are what go to the JPI for all of the sensors to the cylinders and exhaust. Thing looks good there. Come in, see alternator. Get the other side of the vacuum pump. There's no leaks, everything is clean. See the other mag down there where the wires are coming into it. Everything is looking good. Again, you can see like the firewall and all that. See how clean that is? There's absolutely no oil, not a drop that I found that comes out of this engine. Central vac. So hopefully this helps you all kind of get a feel for this airplane and its engine. So I'm just walking around because I know a lot of people have questions about these engines. These IO 360 MBs are one of the most reliable engines that Continental has ever built. They're absolutely amazing. And being a turbo, it's actually detuned, so it even makes it puts less stress on the engine than a normally aspirated IO 360. So engine is great. It looks brand new. I wish I could get underneath it, but you can see this is the cabin air inlet. The other side again, give you another view behind the propeller or the spinner. See, everything is locked on. There's no oil leaks. All of the bolts are fastened the way they should be. The base of the cylinder, at least the ones you can see, they're perfectly clean. There's no oil, anything coming out. Try to get you in so you can see these guys. It's the next cylinder. It's the next cylinder. See all these connectors, everything is clean, right? There's nothing on it. It's perfect. All the safety wiring is in place. And again, just a reminder, we had just ran this engine up. So it was brought up to full temperature and ran for quite a bit. And there's no leaks. Everything is nice and solid. So I hope this helps you all. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care, everybody, and thanks for spending time with me reviewing this beautiful airplane.